Hi everyone, it's Joel and Alan again back at the coffee shop. I guess we can say where it is, it's Java Blend. But this is episode 2 of our Heritage on the Line videos. And today we're going to carry on with where we left off the last time. We're going to go down the block and check out the houses that were built by John Cossey and then just take a little side trip up Willow Street just to show you a couple of things. Anyway, after we have our coffee, we'll be on our way out of here and we'll catch up with you then. Thanks. See you soon. Hi again. Alan and I here. We're just off of Robie Street. We're standing behind the Lagore building and the Heartland House. Now, half the building is missing, and that would be to the right. And that half, in 1892, I believe, was purchased by Robie Sinclair Davison, who was a Nova Scotia Hall of Famer. He was one of the best-known pitchers that ever came out of Nova Scotia. Anyway, he purchased the lot, and once the house was built, he sold his share for quite a large profit. But we just thought you'd like to see what the house looks like from the back. We're just walking out to Robie Street right now. Forgot to mention that Robie Sinclair Davison was also an alderman, I think around 1907, 1908. Now, Alan and I are headed around the corner of Robie and Willow. And then Alan's going to take over and talk to you a bit about these properties that were built by John Cossey.
So these two buildings, about 1891 to 1892, were built by John Cossey for his family. They're both 2 stories high. Both of them actually have small peaks at the front, which was sort of a fad at that period for some of the flat-roofed buildings of Halifax. John Cossey was a mason and builder and a contractor, was active in Halifax for the 1880s. He was an English immigrant. He actually had his family established down on Agricola Street, which is not too far from where what would be Charles Street comes out. So it's only about a couple of blocks away from where these 2 buildings were constructed. Cossey was involved in building significant structures, including the Church of England Institute in downtown Halifax, at least a couple of business blocks or buildings down on Barrington Street, and he was involved in late 1880s when City Hall was constructed here in Halifax. The original contractor couldn't follow through with their obligations, and the city reassigned the contract to Rhodes Curry and Company of Amherst, but that company had already been involved in several construction projects in Halifax for several years before that. And they hired John Cossey to be the lead mason for the foundation of the current City Hall and the walls around it. So Cossey was involved in very significant aspects of Halifax built heritage. And you might call this part of Robie and Willow the Cossey block, because it was a private family. One backs right onto the Heartland House and the Lagore House. So in effect, these 4 buildings were part of the legacy of John Cossey. So that is something that one should keep in mind. Robie Davison, the son of John Davison, the father was a lumber merchant, probably supplied materials for this block construction. His lumber yard was just a block down from Willow Street at Charles and Robie. That's where his lumber yard was. So we had these businesses very close by. So we had the Cossey family, the Davisons, and Rhodes Curry, for which Cossey was involved with the City Hall, was just further down on Robie Street. And the architect for the Heartland houses, Arthur Pelton was employed by Rhodes Curry, and actually was their manager here in Halifax. So it all ties together architecturally, for the construction, the architect, and the owners of this area.
Well, thanks, Alan.
Yeah.
Basically, what we're going to do now is just going to take a little shot across Robie Street, and I just want to show you a house that was designed by Arthur Freeman Pelton. So we're just going to start walking. Okay, so that's Robie Street we're looking at. And I'm just panning over to this first house on Willow Street. Now, this house here was designed by Arthur F. Pelton.
The door itself has a transom with a small overhanging mini roof supported by two curved brackets. And with the same feature is in actually all of the windows. You see that the curved brackets are on the bay windows and the flat windows on the main facade of the house. So these are additional architectural features to heighten the aesthetic appearance of houses of the late Victorian period.
Well, we're just going to do a swing around from the Cossey corner along Robie Street, as you can see, down to the what was formerly known as the J. Wesley Smith Methodist Church.
Yes.
And now it's called
All Nations Reformed.
All Nations Reformed Church. And I'm just going to pan across, and where this Irving station is right now used to be John Davison's lumberyard. John Davison and son, Robie Davison. Okay, that's our tour for today. I have to apologize for the bad sound. Unfortunately, we don't have any lavalier mics or anything like that. We're just going with what's on the iPhone. But you get a rough idea of what the neighborhood is like, and basically what we're fighting against when it comes to the HRM's drive to pretty well destroy this whole neighborhood and many other neighborhoods in the city. I'd just like to point out that it's not only just Alan and I. There's so many other people that are really trying to make people aware of what's going on. I think people maybe not be aware of the losses that we are experiencing as far as built heritage is concerned. So these little videos are just a reminder that we still can save some of it. You know, most of it has been destroyed, but there is still some really good things as far as our historical assets are concerned within the city. So thank you very much, and on behalf of Alan, we'll see you next time. Bye.
All right.